interview. Thank you.
Hi, everybody.
Oh.
Come on in.
Oh, wait,
It's Tuesday. How's your week been? This is Spin Cycle. Welcome. You can see I'm with some people. And I thought that would be fun to have some guest appearances tonight. Because we've been talking a lot about like mom and parenting stuff. So I thought we would broaden the topics because it's been a minute since we did that survey about different topics that you would like to see covered. So if you are new to Spin Cycle, it's where we talk about how not to get stuck in a rut over and over, like the spin cycle of your washing machine. Let me introduce you to some people here. Look who's making another guest appearance.
Yep.
This is Scott Traylor. My better half. All right. Also, we have our friends, Tanika.
Hi, guys.
And Kyrie Stevens.
What up?
They kind of just showed up at our house for dinner, and then this happened.
They're family, though.
Just kidding. They just walk in anytime they want. So that's how we do.
No.
That's how we do it. So awesome. Okay. Hey, Andrea. I know, right? Hello, Suzanne. If you guys want to put your comments in there, we have them down here. So we'll do our best to answer those. But tonight we are going to talk about why it's important to have friendships with people who don't look like you. Well,
Ministry going on.
Woo!
Amen.
So I thought we would start by sharing a little bit about how we all found each other. Okay. Who met first?
Well,
You guys were a couple first.
Yes.
Then we were a
I
couple.
think you guys
later.
met first, right?
Yeah.
We met first
Going to Renovation.
at Renovation Church, where we both are part-time. And then...
I kind of introduced, well, she kind of met my wife. She was like, oh, you're Kyrie's wife. And then they were like the same person.
Yeah, and Sophia and Zaria.
Yes.
Yeah, that was
that
another
was-
strong connection.
yes,
Our
yes.
girls, yes. And then you came along.
Right.
And I saw him with
Thank you,
a
Jesus.
hat. I saw him with a hat in the sanctuary in the odd, and I was like, yo, that dude's cool. And
And then
seriously,
started the nickname
I was like,
Big Money.
yeah, well, I didn't start the name Big
No,
Money.
True did.
True did.
You're right.
Yeah.
We called him Big Money, and then I kind of figured out. I mean, we kind of met each other, and I was like, "Yo, this dude is so much like me," and so I nicknamed him Too Hottie.
Too high.
Yes,
Scotty Too Hottie. For those of you who don't know, that's part of a Amigos song. Scotty Too Hottie.
So you're amigos?
Yes. Well, we
Or
are
bros.
we
Right.
are amigos and bros, but there's a group, a rap group called Migos. So those guys.
Yeah, Channing and Braden know that.
Yeah.
really well.
Yeah,
Right.
Big Money.
I probably listened to those songs accidentally in the
Probably.
car.
Yeah.
There we go.
Probably.
All right, so then, I don't know, then we all just started hanging out, and as iron sharpens iron, we just, I don't know, get better at being
Purposeful.
purposeful in
Hanging out
our,
with each other.
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, we were very intentional about not letting a lot of time go by before we hung out again.
Right.
And that was something I really appreciated because sometimes not being like I have family in Buffalo, but Renovation and you guys became my new family, and I was able to like hang out and have social interaction besides with my my wife again. So it's not that I don't love having social interaction with my wife. Lots of social interaction with my wife. I just
Dude,
But,
y'all.
you know.
Wait a minute.
No.
Okay.
always
I'm gonna spit out my coffee.
always need a minute, okay?
Yes. Or, I forgot this. I'm not sure. This might be public. Okay. All right. So, the first question, kind of just big picture, would be the obvious answer to why do we need people in our lives, friendships, specifically with people who don't look like us. So
Right.
ethnicity, background, culture, race, like all of those components.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, I want to kind of jump into that
Do it.
because one day the day that I knew that this was something that I absolutely needed was I was sharing something with you guys about work. Something that I was going through. I was dealing with some issues, some racial issues at work, and you guys were just like there, and you were like so concerned, and it was genuine, and I knew you cared, and I was like very supportive, and you were just like not having that crap, and I was like, this is dope, because sometimes there's mistrust, and you feel like nobody cares about what you're going through except for people who look like you, and you guys showed that it's not just people who look like you who actually care about these subjects and these issues, and that just really made me feel like, yes, I love this, I need this, because if I know for a fact if I didn't have you guys like at that period of time, I would have probably became bitter, and I probably would have started like being suspicious of white people. Let's keep it real. Thank you, Silas.
Silas, we got a little show going on here.
Hi, honey. It's okay. Love you. Okay.
Yeah. So that was something that was like medicine for my heart. So
That's incredibly
I
powerful.
didn't even tell you guys that, but
No,
that
I
was,
didn't know that part.
yeah, that was definitely medicine for my heart, for my soul, because I started to build up a little like mistrust and like resentment. Even though I went to a school that was multicultural and diverse and stuff like that, when you go through a series of things that like eat at you as a black guy, and it's literally only because you're a black guy, it makes you kind of suspicious and a little bitter and a little angry. And you guys were there to say, hey, no, let's heal that. Let's talk about that. Let's walk through this with you. And I was like, whoa, this is. So it was that was a big release for me. Just that night we were sitting there, and just that night.
I remember that.
I
Exactly.
remember it.
So, yeah, that was definitely healing for my soul. So, thank you guys.
I think it's important to show our children diversity. It's not about what you look like or your skin color. It's about being a Christian. It's about showing love. It's about being human. It's about being a great friend. It's about connections. It's about going through life with other people, to show our children that it's okay to love someone that's not African American or someone that's not white, and it's okay to build those strong connections with, and it's not a temporal thing. It's not when things are good, it's when things are good and when things are bad. So I think that's important. I know for Zaria, when she first met Sophia, she was like, oh mom, I have this friend and she's like so cool and I want to hang out with her, and I'm like, whoa, let's back it up and tell me your name, tell me about her. And at the time, I didn't know that you were Sophia's mom.
Okay.
So then when I found out you were her mom, I'm like, oh, cool, I like her. I remember I told you, like, Michelle seems really, really cool. And then I remember you wrote something on my Facebook wall about loving coffee or something. You remember that? And I was like,
it.
she's like me. She gets me. Remember? So I wanted to develop a relationship with you outside of, renovation, just to show Zaria, like, hey, it's okay for you to have Sophia as a very close friend. And that was important for me, and I loved it. I love every minute of it. Like, it's super cool. I think that we're one.
We are.
We're like, the things that we have in common is crazy. Like, it really blows our mind. So I really enjoy this genuine friendship.
Thank you. I really enjoy your friendship.
I really enjoy that you guys have a friendship too, because then I'm not her only friend. I'm just kidding.
Yes, and it's like very true and honest. I share everything, and I can just be me. I can be serious. I can be silly. I can be like scatterbrained. I can be like, I don't have to front. I don't have to be like serious or have it all together. And at this point in my life, I'm just now embracing that this is who I am. Take it or leave it, good and bad. Like, I don't have to put up a front. I don't have to act like I have it all together. I don't have to, be fake. I can just be really real and transparent. And those are the friendships that I love the most.
I think I really have enjoyed watching Sophia and Zaria too,
Yeah.
because I feel like that has, we've watched that grow and strengthen, and I don't know, it just gives me another perspective when I'm actually not in it myself and I'm watching that friendship play out and how they care about each other and support one another. Like, I think about when Zaria had her talent show and just how Sophia wanted to be there. And was it like super convenient for me to like try to get her? No, but I knew that like it was important to be there. So I did what I needed to do to make sure that that would happen, because you know that they need to know that like women support one another, and that's what you do. And if that is because you're 9 and 10 years old, then that's what we do. That's what we model. And I don't know if you guys remember one of the summer camps that they did at church. Something really profound happened. There's so many things sometimes that you can talk about these topics. I don't know if you've had these experiences where maybe you're like super uncomfortable right now because we're talking about people of color or people who don't look like you or different backgrounds, or I don't know, we're using very candid language. So but it's one thing to kind of talk about those things and then to see it happen right before your eyes. I remember that I walked the girls down to 7-Eleven to get Slurpees. Do you remember this story?
I remember it.
It marked me. It changed me. And just even in the different worldview that these girls had, which they might have been like 7 at the time, because I think it was a couple years ago, we were on the sidewalk walking. All of a sudden, the sirens went on, and a police car went by us. And I couldn't even script this if I tried, and it didn't even skip a beat. So before I could even like figure out what was going on, Sophia says, "Oh my gosh, look, there's a policeman. He's going somewhere," or something like that. And Zaria's like, "Uh-oh, don't do anything. Don't act like we're doing anything," or something to that effect. And I was just stunned, right? At just the complete polar opposites of just the worldview of what has shaped us.
Right.
Yeah. And, even to that, my dad is a police officer, so, she gets to interact with my dad, but it's just the whole thing about police, because during that time, there was a lot of
Oh, okay, she missed you. Sorry.
there was a lot of us being killed on TV.
Right.
And on cell phones. So, as much as you try to shield your kids from that, they see it, and it shapes them, it marks them, so.
I think since knowing you guys and being at Renovation, to be honest with you, I think, and knowing Michelle, it's really challenged my worldview, because honestly, I never thought about that whole term of white privilege, right? And then I think, Kyria, getting to know you and listening to some of your story, and like, it's a real thing, and and it's not fair, it's not right, and to be honest with you, I think I really used to dismiss it a lot, just being younger, and it's just I think hearing your story, and just, I remember just one time you guys were running a little late to meet us for a time we were going out. You guys got pulled over for something. And the first thing we thought about is, are you guys okay? You guys feel safe? And just as God's been working on my heart with that, and it's changing kind of everything, right? Because I'm looking at my work and seeing, holy cow, we have got a lot of white folks here. Like, it's not as diverse as I would like to see it. You know what I'm saying? And even within that group, they're all segregating amongst themselves. You have a large group meeting, and everyone's sitting in their various groups, and being at Renovation and being able to bring some of my work to Renovation has opened up some doors for me, just through some new channels that they see that I'm, that I go to a church like that, and I have those relationships and things. But it's just been neat getting to know you guys and getting past all that stuff too, and just like, you're my brother, and for real, and just the things that we've talked about. When the girls aren't around, we go out to lunch and things, and some of
like, what do you say? Like, frustrations about us?
Yes,
maybe
sure.
yes.
Yeah.
What?
Sure.
Okay. All right.
Hey,
Keep it
that's the part about being the man,
okay,
right?
yeah, okay.
So,
I can handle
and taking
it.
responsibility for
Okay.
all that stuff, and wanting to lead our families,
Absolutely.
right? And just what's the right way to do it, and challenge each other and praying for each other.
Absolutely.
It's awesome. That's all I got right now.
No, I'm just reflecting. I'm reflecting on that because, I mean, if Tanique and I go to Target, I can't say that it's always that deep. So.
Oh, it's not always that.
No,
okay.
I would say,
No, it's
you know, I think
Because
we have a
both of
lot.
you are pretty funny, so I didn't know if you're like kneeling in the restaurant praying over your family.
No, it's
nothing weird.
It's
Just
just
we're not
life
weird.
together. Like,
Okay.
Yeah.
Like the one time I had to go pick up the kids, Kyrie came with me in the middle of that freaking snowstorm.
Oh,
We
when
had
you
lots
drove,
of time together.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And you know, it's when you're doing life together like that, you have opportunities to talk and that kind of thing, and you know, I don't know.
Yeah, so we got to share, like, we want the same things for our family.
Yeah.
You know,
Right.
we want the same things, you know, and we're trying to do it kind of the same, pretty much the same way.
Yeah.
With the same
Yeah,
values.
with the same values.
Yeah.
You know, so, you know, we're just people.
Right.
Right.
You know, so that's, yeah. And when you get past the skin, you realize that people are just people.
So let me ask you a question about that. When is it okay to get past the skin? Because Breck had mentioned that at one point, you know, just people kind of glossing over that, like, you know,
I'm colorblind.
I'm colorblind.
Yeah.
Right. So when is that a frustration versus when it's okay? 'Cause you just said
Authentic,
something.
yeah.
authentic.
Okay, I feel like it's okay to get past skin when you acknowledge that I'm a person who's dealt with things that are not fair.
Right.
And you understand that I'm not just pissing and moaning and not just being like, this is a real thing. And when you take me seriously and I can share my heart, it's just like with anybody. When you feel like, it's just like any relationship. When I feel safe enough to feel my heart and feel respected and feel like you're taking me seriously, then all of that stuff just melts away because it breaks down barriers, it breaks down borders, because it's real. You actually feel loved.
Is that after you develop trust?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, when I feel like, you know, I can be me and it's not going to be like judged. You know, when it's going to be when you're going to take me seriously.
Right.
Do we have a question?
No, it's just
So-
comments.
Oh, okay.
So
Yeah.
I got another question. So like the whole thing that happened in the NFL this past year, Kyrie, and people feel like the flag is getting disrespected.
Right.
They don't get it, do they?
No.
It's not about the flag.
No, it's not about the flag. It's never been about the flag. You know, like Kat, he was kneeling because he was saying that this flag is supposed to represent all of us, but some of us don't get to have the same privilege.
Right.
And it was about us being shot down in the street, and there's not even a indictment. Like they don't even gotta do anything. You know, there's no justice for us, and it happens over and over, and it's been happening. And you know, he was just trying to bring, you know, some awareness that we matter too. So the whole Black Lives Matter didn't mean that nobody else's lives matter or blue lives didn't matter. It's just saying that if all lives matter, we're a part of all lives, so we have to matter too. Right. And it was very frustrating for me to deal with that when people made it about something that it wasn't about. Like, it's not about your flag. It's not about the flag. It's about life.
Right.
It's about loving. It's about us loving one another. And we have to, if all lives are going to matter, our lives have to matter too. So I think the Black Lives Matter should have said Black Lives Matter too.
Right.
Or Black Matters as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
You know,
Maybe that would have been
I think
construed
people
better.
would have gotten it better if they would have
Right.
said Black Lives Matter too.
Right.
You know, because it seemed at that point that Black lives didn't matter. You can get shot and then there would be no consequences to it. So they should have said Black Lives Matter too. So yeah.
Which is the interesting thing about that whole thing is all he did was kneel.
Yeah.
You know, and so Tim Tebow kneeled in the end zone, right? And he could have done a lot more disrespectful things. And if anything, I really felt as a protest, it was probably the most respectful thing he could have done. You know what I'm saying?
Quiet protest.
But it goes back to just like sitting at a counter at a whites only bar, like
Right.
or whites only restaurant diner. It's not what was being done. It's who was doing it. You know, it's the fact that how dare you speak up about this? How dare you have that perspective? Because like you were saying, go back to white privilege. We didn't have the privilege. A lot of times, we don't have the privilege of having our own perspective or having our own feelings or being able to our own protest. So that's something that, you know, we've talked about. Like sometimes it's just very stifling, and to just feel like you can't share. Nothing that you're saying is being respected. So like that's why I said it was so freeing for us, because I actually felt heard and respected.
Yeah.
You know. So,
So tell me, I'm sorry,
Yeah,
one
go
more
for it.
question.
Yeah.
Tell me if I'm oversimplifying it when it comes to this issue, but it's one of the things we're working through kind of at work about trust and suspicion. And it's kind of some stuff that we learned from Renovation Church, but we kind of boiled it down to assume the best.
mm-hmm.
And when it comes to that whole idea of white privilege and blacks, that it's almost like just even that simple concept. It's not assume the best; it's assume the worst.
Oh,
Just
absolutely.
as a starting point, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it just seems so simple from the perspective of just have a different starting point.
Yeah.
Right? Of assume the best, and then if from there trust is broken or things happen,
Right.
then so be it. But
Right.
at least start with that as a foundation.
And that's all. That's the whole thing. We just want to have the same starting point. You know.
Stupid, it's okay. I'm stupid. I'm just learning.
We're on a live show. Hi, Shan. Hi, Shan.
Thank you. Best parents.
Is there something to your car?
I couldn't get the keys.
Oh. Okay. Well.
Yes.
Yeah. It's just having it, like you said. It's really that. It's just having a fair starting point. Like we don't want you to put us over. Just start us at the same spot. Like just allow us to give us the benefit of the doubt. And
Right.
One thing I think this has been true in multiple relationships I have with friends. But would you say that to get to that starting point with friends, that you need to have like shared experiences and shared memories? Because if you think about the story that you told about when we had the big conversation at the kitchen table, that was kind of like that, no? Like that was our starting point. Like we shared a common experience in some ways, like those moments, like those conversations.
yeah.
Am I making sense?
Well, yeah. I think was being able to share and creating that experience. Yes, that having that experience, that same experience where we were all talking and sharing our heart. I think that's where it starts. Just being able to share your heart in any relationship.
Right.
It's just if you can start talking about the things that really matter, then trust is built. Then
I remember when you were so encouraging when I first started that blog.
I still love that blog.
I haven't stopped writing. It's just a little harder with managing 8 to 10 people for dinner every night.
Right.
Or 14, like tonight. So I haven't stopped writing altogether. I just have been writing less frequently. But I would just say that it's really encouraging to me, and it kept encouraging me to write more, because I just feel like you, I don't know, just put your heart out there and you put your thoughts out there, and you don't always get feedback.
Right.
And sometimes it's not always positive, but I don't know. I just remember how encouraging
Yeah, I think
you were for me in that.
Yeah, I think when I first read that, it was like first Zaria and Sophia, and then it was like your love for coffee, and then Target.
Of course.
And then that blog was like, wow, like it's okay to talk about these things.
Yeah.
Because, as women, period, and especially as, me being, he wants to say hi to you, Daddy. Me being a young woman, it's not always easy to talk about what's going on in your life without being judged. No matter what it is. Like, I remember I said one day I was having a bad day, and I was like, oh, the kids are late for school. I didn't even feed them breakfast. I am so, remember, I had to finish a training. And something happened with the website at the last minute, and I'm like, Michelle, I got to work. I was like, oh my God, I feel so horrible. The kids are late to school. I have to go get them breakfast. I haven't even left the house yet. And you were like, well, they will get breakfast and they will go to school. So, like, back up, pump your brakes, and, like, it's okay. And a lot of times it's hard to share those things. because we always want to clean house, we always want to meet deadlines, we always want the kids. I know for me, I want the kids in the bed at a certain time, I want my house to look a certain way, I want to be on time, and it's okay when those things don't happen. Like it's like he tells me all the time, Sanika, you want our house to look like a hotel. You want it to be clean all the time, and that's unrealistic. But it's like I can tell you, like my house is a mess right now. I have to do, like I was telling you last night, I have to do laundry. I have to get the clothes ready, and like that's okay. Like it's all a part of the process. And a lot of times we see the final
Product.
we see the final product, but we don't necessarily see the process.
Right.
In a lot of different areas. So I'm now like it is what it is at this point. It is, and that's okay.
Good enough for the people who matter.
Right.
Yes,
and that's okay.
Anybody have any questions? You guys have been kind of quiet, but hello, Carlos. Give our girl Patty a little shout out. All right, hi Eric. I don't know, any additional closing thoughts?
Oh, this time flew by.
It sure did. I usually try to keep it to really like 20 minutes. I guess I just think that when you understand that your perspective is incomplete at its core, I think that was, I'll sidebar, I think that was for me growing up, like not even realizing that my perspective was incomplete about the world, about being a Christian, about a Christian marriage, about so many things. I think that was the first step, just to understand that my view of life and the world was not the only view. So from there, I think it's just a reflection of, I don't know, like a deeper relationship with God, like when we can have each other sharpening each other, and when we can share in life and joy and pain and I don't know.
Yeah, I feel the same way. Just getting a different perspective and seeing life a different way. Because, even just being in a pretty much all black church, you see worship as a certain way. You see church being done as a certain way. You see relationships being done as a certain way. And then just the eye-opening like eureka moment was when I came to Renovation, and we got to hang out. I was like, wait, everything doesn't have to be so pressurized. Mm-hmm. Everything doesn't have to be, because as black people, and I just say this, everything with us is so pressurized. That's why our worship is so emotional. That's why everything is like full of like hyper emotion. Like when we're mad, we're really mad. When we're, it's always extreme because we deal with so much pressure. Can
I ask a question right in there? Because we were talking about just some of the themes and narratives of some of the songs at that concert we went to on Friday night. Mm-hmm. Does that pressurization come out of just the history of oppression?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's still oppressed,
right.
And we're still oppressed now. So, for me, and this is why I keep going back to our original conversation that sparked everything for us, to come out of a constantly pressurized situation where you go outside and immediately people are assuming the worst about you. They're already suspicious. They're already not trusting. They're already not supportive. To come to a place where it's people who, when you get together with, people, and sometimes the people who look like you are the same. They're pressurized because they're doing the same thing to you because they feel the same way. But to come and, some of them are not, but to come around people who don't look like you and they can help alleviate that pressure and alleviate that stress, and you can feel like it's a safe place to share, a safe place emotionally, a safe place spiritually.
Right.
That just is all the, it just lifts a whole weight about you. And you can just be you can be yourself, and that you can be funny, you can be happy, you can be, you can be.
Yeah, that's very true. I was just thinking about, because when we first got married, I felt like there were certain things I had to do as a wife. The house has to be clean. I have to have dinner done by a certain time. The bed always have to be made. The laundry got to be washed dried, folded, and put away. Like, I had very high expectations for myself, and I didn't really share those expectations, or I never really shared my viewpoints with other people because I felt less than. Like, how dare you tell them you don't have it together? How dare you? You know what I mean?
Yeah, because in the black community, you can't.
I mean, not necessarily in the black community. I mean, yes, there too, but like at home, my mom, our house was never, and our house was tip top all the time. Like, you had to come in, you had to take off your shoes. Like, dinner was done by 3 o'clock every single day. And, you know, she worked, so that's why she did those things prior to her going to work. But I felt like that was a certain standard. And I didn't feel comfortable talking about it with other women or other wives because I'm like, and they might not have judged me, but it was just my own insecurities. It was risky. Okay. And then coming to renovation, I felt like it's a group of people that are just imperfect. I mean, like all Christians are, we're very imperfect people, but like it's okay to just to just be okay, or even if you're okay or you're not okay, or just, you know, like I didn't meet the mark today, like, and that's okay. And it's like comforting to know that you have people that you can be real and still encouraging, because people are like, you know, even in our old church, people were always encouraging. People were always like, you're doing so good, I'm so proud of you. But I felt like if you really knew how my house looked, because every Sunday, you know, was the only day that we had to get up at a certain time, and I hated Sundays sometimes. I'm like, we all have to get up, we all have to get dressed, we all have to leave out, and we would fight. Like, I kid you not, I felt like it was always an attack, but we would fight every single Sunday because we had to get there. You know, he had things that he needed to do, and I almost hated it. And then so when you get to church and you experience that, and then you get to praise and worship, it's like an emotional. And people always say, you know, praise and worship in a black church is like so emotional. But it's like all of the stuff I had to do to get here. Right. Like, I'm gonna worship and I'm gonna cry. Yeah. Because you don't know. You know what I had to deal with in order to get here, or the week. Sure. Or, you know, like he said, everything is so pressurized in life. And then I think I learned that a lot of those situations, like, I put myself in. Like, I never had expectations. The expectations, yes. I never had to have dinner done at 3 o'clock. No. I never had to have the laundry, you know, washed, folded, and put away within the hour. Like, those are things that I placed on myself. But I feel like even having a relationship with you is just that you like, girl, we gonna be all right, you know, no matter what. And like, it's just very comforting just to be who you are, just to be yourself, and just, you know, you gotta keep it moving. I have a friend who, she was like, Nick, one day at a time, you know, one step at a time. Days that you, as long as you're moving, like, it's okay. Some days you're sprinting, you got everything done. Like, I came home from work last week, I made dinner by 3:30. I went to the gym. I came home, put the kids in the bed. I got clothes ready the next day. The next day, I was like, y'all eating chips for dinner. No, not really. But the next day, I was just like, I can't do it today. And I didn't feel bad. And I didn't feel like I wasn't a good mom or a good wife. Because I'm like, I'm all right.
Well, I think that's why it was so important for you guys to link together and help one another, because I would say these things to her. Okay, yeah. And she wouldn't receive it from me. But if you say it, it's just like there's been several times where she's like, you know, Michelle said this and Michelle said that, and I'll be like, I just said the same.
Yeah, but you're not a wife or a mom, you know. So like,
I know, and that's what I'm saying. It was
easier for you to say things.
Right. But that goes to the one of our values that we use in our family is Widening the Circle, and so. And I know that takes a lot of different shapes and sizes, even just within our families connecting, you know. But Andrea, okay.
Well, she says that it was for Curie and Tanika, but she said it could be for us too. It says, when your children aren't really around colored people, especially Drew, it seems harder for him. I guess maybe the question might be is how to make him more comfortable.
Okay.
I mean, just new people, period. It's always intimidating. Like, you know, like going to a new school or going to anything new. It's just you gotta push past it and just do it. You just have to be intentional about it. Because if you're not intentional, you drift away from it. You drift to comfort.
Right, and I think it's about having those conversations. I remember when we changed Zaria's school. I never wanted to change her school until I'm like, I don't want to change her school. We've only been living here for a few months. School is starting. we'll wait till the next year. So when the next year came, we're like, let's keep her still. Well, me. You know, let's keep her at the school she's at. And then when we changed her to her new school, and, you know, her school is predominantly white. And we had to have those conversations about, you know, Zaria, going to a new school, there's going to be a lot more white people in your class. There's going to be Asians, you know, multicultural. You know, how do you feel about that? And she was like, I'm cool. You know, like,
What other things did you say to her?
I asked her how she felt about it. I asked her, did it make her uncomfortable? And she was like, no, I'm fine with it. I don't feel uncomfortable. I did ask her, she did ask me one day, she came home from school, she's like, Mom, I had a really, really great day. She was like, but I have a friend, and, you know, she's white. Like, is it okay for me to be friends with her? Like, can I hang out with her? Can I go over her house? Because I already have Sophia.
So you can only have one white friend.
Right. So I'm like,
token white friend.
Token white friend.
Sorry, you could be friends with whoever you want to be friends with.
Yeah.
She was like, you know, and she was like, you know, Mom, it's really not bad going to school with white people. Like, I love my friends. Like, you really can't tell the difference.
Right.
And that was like a pivotal moment for her because she expected to go to the school being an outcast. Because she expected, you know, going from a predominantly black school to a predominantly white school that, you know, it was going to be hard for her. And she didn't want to leave her friends because she had been at that school since she started school. And when she got there, she was like, Mom, I like this school way better. We do this, we do that. And she loved it. And now she say all the time, like, this is the best thing. Like, I wish I would have went here in 3rd grade or in 2nd grade. You know, she wanted to leave in the middle of the year. And she was like, I wish you would have been to this. So it's just like, for renovation, when we started coming, I was like, I am not feeling this. I was like, so, like, because it was just so different.
It's very different.
It's very, very different. And it took some time to embrace the culture of renovation and to be comfortable with it. I remember for a long time when he first started coming, I didn't come. I was like, I'm just gonna stay home. I'm gonna watch Sarah Jakes because I didn't know how to, like, deal with that. I didn't know how to, like, I needed baby steps. And now I say to him all the time, like, it's such a breath of fresh air. Like, he always say you don't know what you don't know, but not until you take those steps and have those conversations and walk it out, you really see that it's all good.
It was funny when we went to that concert on Friday night. I think I was one of 3 white guys there. Like, legit. It was like me, Breck, and like one other person.
Yeah, I did.
Well, you know what? But that was kind of the point, though. Like, I totally did not feel uncomfortable at all. Like, it was like, you know, probably 5 years ago, I would have been like, oh man, like I'm like really outnumbered here. So it's kind of
wow. I didn't know.
I guess, like, to tie some of those points together, then Andrea, or if anybody else is thinking about that, like with kids specifically, is I would just say, like, consistently, like, intentionally putting those opportunities in front of them
to find common ground.
Yes. I will also say that Silas's school that he went to the last few years was much more multicultural than the district he's in right now. And so he had lots of different friends. I mean, just everything in between. And whenever he would maybe repeat a comment that he's heard a classmate say, or so-and-so got in a fight today because that person said that about that person, or, you know, I can't even think of a specific, but I do remember, like, just shutting that down, you know. So when it was about a person of color, or it was about someone who looked differently than him, and he would say, well, aren't all something, and he'd say something, you know, pejorative. Well, no, Silas, not all, you know, or not, no, God made everybody different, so you don't know that, you don't know their heart. So I think, you know, as you're doing that and as you're exposing your kids to that, like, you have to be able to kind of balance that too. Hi, Navy girl.
Yeah. So yeah, just like you're saying, like just be out there and be intentional, and just, I mean, when you find common ground, then you can find more common ground.
And just have those conversations.
I think the problem that a lot of time persists is, like, people think that you're different. They think because your skin is different, or you come up in a different place, that you have different values, or you want something different, or you're a different species of something, you know, and we're the same.
Right.
And when you find common ground, it breaks that stuff down, and then when you get that, you find that there's more there's more common than there is different. You know.
Right.
So.
And with Zaria, I had those one-on-one conversations. Like it would be
I had some too.
when they were, you know, when we were alone, so she could feel
Yeah.
comfortable sharing how she felt without, you know, being distracted by the little kids, or even she had those one-on-one conversations with her dad to get our different perspectives.
I just think it's funny too because we're telling like our kids like this whole concept of like, yes, we're all the same. Like we're made in God's image. God made us special, and we all have different talents and all those things that we say to our kids. And then in the meantime, like Navy's saying what she's what color?
Navy says she's white.
And Sophia says that she's like tan. And she did this self-portrait with like a brown crayon.
Yeah. Well,
And-
she also calls beef chicken.
She also calls every meat chicken.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, I did that too.
Oh, okay.
Well, my whole family for a while we called every meat chicken.
That's so funny.
Can I have some more chicken? It's pork chops, man. This is a steak. If it's meat, it's chicken.
That
We were
legit
young.
happened. There was like a lesson that happened.
Oh,
We
yeah.
were like pig.
Pig is pork, bacon, you know.
Cow.
Cow is like hamburger, steak, beef.
Right.
Chicken is chicken.
Yes, chicken is chicken. That's awesome. All right.
Kaylee says
Sophie
Sophie's color.
is colored.
Oh my gosh. She does have a very olive skin color.
She
That's
does.
for sure. That's for sure. So I don't know what happened with that. But we've gone over time. Thank you for joining us. Say thank you to these lovely
Thank
people.
you guys.
We love them dearly. Hopefully this was an encouragement to you so that you can work on the friendships with those around you. Because you never know like what God is going to do and who He's going to use in your life, and He is sovereign in that way, and He is very good to us in that way. So be on the lookout for that, because if you ask Him to widen that for you, He absolutely will.
So black people, get you some white friends.
White people get you some people of color friends.